It's kind of floated in front of me before the game by Jimi Hendrix, Fire, from the band. And I thought we played on fire today. It's ironic. So that must have been somebody's band sheet they didn't have for that song. Want to thank our crowd, want to thank our band. Just want to thank everybody associated with Minnesota Golden Gopher football, the support we're getting. What an environment our fans created. And I hope you continue to create that. If not, even continue to take it to a higher level. I'm really proud of our football team for a lot of particular reasons. The most particular reason is because they played as a family tonight. We keep talking about building this framework, right? Year 3 is the framework. Year 1's the dig. 2's the foundation. Year 3, everybody starts to see what's going on here. Well, then we now started talking about these drywall. Once you put the drywall up, now you can protect it even more. So we needed everybody in the house to get to the family room this week, and we need to play family room defense. With Kamal Martin not playing, Sorry Marin, nothing by coincidence. He was a leading tackler on defense. So we needed our best players to play their best, and then we also needed the guys who haven't played a ton to go in there and play their best, not be Kamal Martin, but go in there and play their best. I thought we controlled the game in terms of our time management, 43 minutes to 17. That's Golden Gopher football. And I think Chip asked me the question the other day, what's the number one statistic you look at? That one, and that's why. I know the outcome of the game, but there's a reason why the outcome of the game happened 95% of the time, and that's why. When you have a score of 52-10, you run for 321 yards. You have close to 500 yards of total offense. You control the clock for 43 minutes. You're 7 of 11 on third down, and then on defense, they're 2 of 11. So they're playmakers. They have them everywhere. They're a very talented football team. We had to keep their playmakers on the sideline, and that's why the third down was so big for us. Really proud of our football program. They found a way to be 1-0 in the Maryland championship season. That's all they worked on. That's all they wanted to do. There's no such thing as trap games, no such thing as momentum. You've heard me say that before. I know people want to talk about things like that. They do not exist in our program. Momentum doesn't exist because one person plays better defense, one person plays worse offense, and we call it momentum, and everybody rallies behind it. Trap games, we want to look ahead. This team does not look ahead. Whether we would have lost or won tonight, they do not look ahead. They're not allowed to. Our culture is very strong. The 4 walls are really tight, and found a way to get the win. Really proud of the 1-0 season. Really proud of the preparation. Got a bye week coming up that we need to take advantage of, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But really proud of them. Really proud of everybody, our administration especially, so and our players. It's all about them. Any questions?
You talked about not looking ahead and staying kind of in the moment. I mean, it's human nature for teams. We see upsets all the time where teams don't play their best regardless of situations. Does that show the maturity of this team?
Yeah, we go through stages, right? So year 1's a dig, and you just learn how to row. Year 2's foundation, and that's what we call the race to maturity. Youngest team in America. Well, it's all about how you define maturity. Our program defines it as when doing what you have to do becomes doing what you want to do. And you go up and down, and then you're 3 and 4, and then all of a sudden you find a way to beat Wisconsin at the end of the year. You go 6 and 6, you win your bowl game, you get the axe back, and here we go. And then you get to year 3, and now you've got to be able to embrace your past to create your future. So now you're a mature football team. You're still young. 80% of the team's freshmen and sophomores, but young doesn't mean you shouldn't play well. Young with experience is good. And now all of a sudden, they've taken that past, used it for their advantage. You have to have failing. You have to have adversity. You have to have success. You have to have all that to become really successful in a championship-type team. And this team has a lot. They have the formula to do whatever they want to do. Anything they want to do. Now, will we do that? We'll find out. But they have the formula, maybe ahead of schedule, than maybe people gave them credit for. Because, don't get me wrong, people picked a 6 in the West, said, we're still a ways off, and, this and that. This team doesn't listen to all that. They hear it, but then we get inside our culture, our 4 walls, bring it all in of all of what you say, which is all good. It's human nature stuff, but our program is designed to fight human nature every day, to become elite. But when you become elite, you stand out, and then you leave yourself open for criticism and adversity. And I'm just proud of how our players handle that. And we have tremendous resources and support system. Tremendous all around them, everywhere they look. And I'm glad that they're using a lot of that too, because there's a lot of pressures upon them. However, pressure is earned. Pressure is a good thing. If you have pressure on your life, that means your life is significant because you're doing something for other people and doing something bigger than yourself. Pressure is awesome. Stress, can't control it. Why worry about it?
What was it like to see Rodney get to etch his name into the record books tonight?
There's nobody There is nobody who is more deserving of what he accomplished today, and nobody has done, I think I drew this for you before, the line of success more than Rodney Smith. That's the best way I can put it. He's had highs, he's had lows, he's had opportunities to quit. He took him about 18 months to actually buy in. Took him a while, but we never gave up on him, and he never gave up on us. And now I think you see an unbelievable Rodney Smith, an elite Rodney Smith, a selfless Rodney Smith, and people say, oh, he's back to being the old Rodney. No, he's a better Rodney Smith than he used to be. He's a better person, he's a better player, he's a better teammate, better server and giver, just overall better person. And, I thank my higher power every day that he's on this football team.
Besides the 33-yard run, you guys had him to 2 yards a carry. What was key there, and what made Mariano be able to fill in so well?
Mariano's one of the smartest players we have on this football team. And Kamal, even though he didn't play, he was there at practice coaching. I think that's important. Mariano had an opportunity and took advantage of his opportunity. As we keep going forward, right, it's not just about the guys that are seniors, it's about who their backups are for next year. We need plenty of playing experience. We played a lot of players tonight. Trey Potts got a touchdown. Preston Jellin was in there. We got our whole second O-line in there. We got a lot of people in there. Harry Van Dyne catches a nice ball, deep ball. Nice ball by Jacob Clark. So they're starting to be able to gain this experience is what you want. But Mariano's one of the best people you'll ever meet, one of the smartest individuals you ever meet. We're talking about a guy who has 4.0 and just a tremendous, tremendous Chicago kid.
Scheme.
I thought our scheme was there's nothing that's flawless, but it was buttoned up. That's the best way I can say. Our scheme was buttoned up this week. And Joe Rossi's tremendous. His whole staff. Joe Harris-Simiak was the FCS Coach of the Year, head coach of the year, left that to come with us. Jim Panagos left a job that he was making probably way more money with me, and he left that to come back here to be with Rossi, be with Harris-Simiak, be in the row the boat culture. And then Rod Chance left Oregon, and he came here, probably knowing that he's probably going to get a job at Oregon at some point, left there to come here to coach the corners. And then you got a guy like Danny Collins, who's my quality control coach, and he's been with me 7 years. These guys, we know our system inside and out, and our challenge is to make sure our players master our system just like our coaches know it. And our players take pride in doing that. And again, bad teams, nobody leads. Average teams, coaches lead. Elite teams, players lead. This is a player-led team, finally. Now, we got to keep getting better and changing our best because we're only 1-0. After tomorrow, we're going to be 0-0 again. No, 0-0 because we have a bye week in the middle. So we got to find a way to win the bye week.
PJ,
I'll get to judge that, though. Probably going to be a win.
How much did the 2 balls off the hands and the 2 interceptions shape the game?
Well, we were opportunistic. We wanted to keep everything in front of us. They're one of the most explosive teams in the country when it comes to explosive plays, right? They have that type of Nebraska explosive play, touchdown. Purdue, explosive play, touchdown. Maryland, explosive play, touchdown. They were talking about a team that scored 79 points in week 1, scored 60-some against Syracuse. They can explode at any time. This is a team that blew us out of the water last year with the same group of guys that they've added to, right? So I thought we had a really buttoned-up plan. I thought we did a great job swarming to the ball, and we were in the right positions. When you're in the right positions, you can play solid defense. And then when you're an opportunistic defense, you can catch the ball and run.
you guys have done a good job staying in the moment, but a lot of people have looked at this scenario, 8-0 with 8-0, Penn State coming in.
Oh, I remember Joe Schmidt saying that. After week 5, good old Joe Schmidt, right in the back of the press conference, said, I know you guys are going to be 8-0, so Joe Schmidt called it. But having Joe back there saying, I'm Joe, 1-0, I'm sitting there thinking, that is so far away. But if we would have focused on that, we would not be where we're at. But as you look back at our season, there's always these quirky little things that have happened, Chris Altman-Bell having a size 11 instead of 13. He wouldn't have put his foot down, right, against Fresno State. The one-handed catch by Rashad Bateman, the sack fumble that we recover and then go score. There's hundreds of plays that I can think of that really made the season what it is. And when you have a season like this, you're going to have plays like that. And, this seems to be one of those years leading up to this point.
There's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, on your program nationally. There's going to be a lot of buzz in town. Do you tell your guys to enjoy this? This is kind of what college football should be, right?
Sure did. We had a huge party in there. You should have came on in, Chip. Well, it's over now. It was a heck of a party. But I will say this. I did tell them to enjoy it. They have to enjoy it. I was told a long time ago, the dream is the journey. Most of us think when you win something at the very end and you get something really gold and shiny and silver and shiny, like that's the reward. The dream is actually the struggle. you pick a job, you take a job, knowing that it will not be easy, especially what we walked into, what we had to be able to calm down to start with, and then be able to get everybody to buy in, which wasn't a lot of people. But the dream is the journey. And when you pick something and you say that's your dream, that's great. You're picking the hard days, the bad days, the negative days, the days your name gets drugged through the mud. You're picking the days you have success here and there. You're picking the small successes. You're picking the big successes. You're picking the close margin victories, the close margin losses, the horrific feel of defeat, but also the huge triumph of winning. That's the journey. That's the dream. Because once you do have something like this, not Dasani, but when you have a shiny trophy, everybody says, well, can you do it next year? And you'll write that to us or about us, which, because you're a really good journalist, you're going to sit there and say, yeah, coach, your first question will be, can you do it next year? But that's what you want. Our job, when I was hired through Mark Coyle, and his demand of me was make our program better and make it better the day you take it than when it's over. And you will. And that's why I'm hiring you. And the vision was bigger than a lot of people think. And Mark and I had the same vision, which might sound crazy to a lot of people, but not to Mark Coyle and myself. And now that vision is being shared with President Gable. And I'm so glad she's here because I think she understands that too. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take a lot of things. It's going to take more things. But, like I said, that's the dream is the journey. And if you're not enjoying it smartly, you have to enjoy it being smart. And that was my last message with them, was we have a very special thing going. Make sure we do the right things. Have fun, celebrate, but do the right thing. And I told them, listen, Heather and I, we're going to celebrate, right? You got to speak. There you go. Yes, we are. But we're going to be smart. We're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, you know where our house is. Feel free to come on over. It's on the front page of the Star Tribune, so feel free with the address.
One or two more for Coach.
Coach, you had to use all your timeouts pretty early in each half. Was there something that caused that today? Is it a concern? Something you have to clean up or not?
No. I call timeouts based on feel. How can I protect the situation? There were a few situations I felt like if I don't call timeout here and don't get the right play, it could really flip some things. So I'm going to call timeouts in key situations. Now, second half, I'd rather not do that. I want to keep all my timeouts, like I've said. But again, critical moments, critical situations, and the way the game was going, I needed to protect a bad play not happening to us or us being in a bad play. And I didn't like it just as much as I normally do. I've never called that many timeouts. I've been a head coach for 7 years. That's a lot of quarters and a lot of halves. But it was necessary for this game. That's all. It wasn't somebody was in the wrong stance or they're in the wrong way or they weren't here. We just didn't like the look or we didn't like what was going on. I didn't feel good about it, and I just burned a timeout. The first one was I just sprinted down the sideline to tell the official that here comes this type of play we talked about in my pre-game meeting with him. Well, I didn't know that I couldn't run out of my box to tell him that. Kinda. And immediately when you run out of the box, they call timeout because that's what they think you're going to do, not have a conversation at the 10-yard line. So that was my fault. But I just wanted to talk to the official.
We'll take two more and then we'll be done. Andy, then Meg. Andy?
Coach, what's the pitch to College game day?
We're in a very political state, aren't we? All right, this one's for the House. This one's for the Congress. Here we go, right? This one's for the Democrats and the Republicans. Here we go. I said on TV, I really hope College game day looks at our Twin City, our university, truly to bring game day here. We have 4 million people that live in the Twin City area. We are the only Division I school in the state of Minnesota. Everybody here is Gophers. We have never hosted College game day. All due respect to Alabama and LSU. I have no idea what's going on with them right now, but I can tell you this. You can go to them any year. Pick a year. Pick a game. You can go to them every game of the season if you would like. College game day is about unique stories, about unique places, about unique moments. That's what they say they're about. And I'm not going to say they're not if they don't come here, because I think that would be bad. But when I was a head football, when I was a college player, the first college game day ever to come to the MAC was Bowling Green, Northern Illinois, and I was involved. The second time I had an experience with college game day was when I was at Ohio State. The third time I had an experience with college game day, they came to this little small town called Kalamazoo, Michigan for the undefeated Broncos and had one of the best experiences of their entire life. And if I could tell ESPN, believe me, trust me, you come to the Twin City area, you come to the University of Minnesota for is Penn State undefeated? An undefeated Penn State team, an undefeated Minnesota Golden Gopher team in this Twin City area where they host the Super Bowl, the Final Four. Next is game day, naturally. That's why I think they should come here. And I think our whole city would rally behind it. And if they thought they had large crowds before, wait till 4 million people show up. Because as Chip wrote, if we do go 8-0 3 weeks ago, this would be Gopher Town, USA. Am I right, Chip? I read your stuff. We're 8-0, Chip. We got to find a way to make this Gopher Town, USA. So college game day, come on with it. Reese Davis, I spoke at an ESPN event 2.5 years ago. I'm really lobbying here. Reese Davis, I spoke to ESPN. It was kind of a conference. And I got off the stage, and Reese Davis said, I do know one thing. In the next few years, the Golden Gophers are going to be on the map because of that culture, that staff, and what he does with those players. Well, Reese, we're here. We're here. It's a perfect opportunity to do it, and it's unique and creative. It's not the same old, same old. No offense to Alabama and LSU. That's pretty cool. But this, I think, is a unique experience that doesn't happen very often and hasn't happened ever. Heather, do you want to say please or anything? Maybe if you stood up here. You'll call him. Okay, yeah. So, but hopefully we'll talk to Gene. Have Gene do something. But we'd love to have him. I know our administration loved to have him. I think it'd be a wonderful experience and moment for all of our players. 8-0 versus 8-0, place they've never been before, place that the Super Bowl and Final Four has been. Let's do this.
I think Meg had the same question, so thank you all very much. Thank you, Coach.
That's it. All right. Renew. Row the boat. Sky Yama. Go Gophers.